Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. In today's episode, this February 17th, 2022, we are continuing our coverage of the ongoing civil war taking place inside of the former state of Ethiopia, and at the same time, we're also going to have another look at the despotic regime inside of Eritrea. So first and foremost, on my map, you will see the gigantic Sawa Military Academy. And this is where all grade schoolers, either male, female, unmarried females, attend the Sawa Military Academy for 1 year during their 12th year in grade school. So at the end of, and it would be high school here in the United States, so their final year, they come here to this locale and they spend 1 year undergoing indoctrination at the monolithic, gigantic Sawa training facility. And you can see very expansive grounds with dozens and dozens of barracks to contain basically the entire next generation of Eritrean youth in the Sawa Military Academy. And I talked about also the concept of how the Eritrean state deals with some of its what it would identify as its unwanted or persons who may have committed crimes against the state. And if you look, generally speaking, at let's say Eritrean prisons, so this here, the Sophia prison, highly secured, is not what you would normally associate with a highly secured prison. Matter of fact, it's kind of small, kind of run down, and in fact probably doesn't have very many prisoners because there's really only one outcome if you oppose the regime of Eritrea. And unfortunately, that is the death penalty. So if you have the massive use of state-sponsored death penalty, then your need for prisons is greatly reduced. In this case here, is a prison which obviously probably does not have very many people, and I would assume that they transport individuals into these areas. And in my last video, I talked about how they dispose of some of their enemies of the state. And again, just to kind of talk about how that process works in terms of my conversations with individuals from the despotic state of Eritrea. When you're arrested in Eritrea, you do not know why you're being arrested. You are simply detained and you are transported to a location where you have no idea what's going to happen to you. There is no due process, there's no defense attorney or anything of the sort. You're held in a secure area, and they, the state, decide what they then want to do with you. And it could be further indoctrinations in various camps, or it could be a final penalty in which you are buried in the ground. And what's interesting is I want to circle back to the No More movement, and obviously the No More movement is ran at this point in terms of the front person, Hermela, a Los Angeles area reporter. Again, she has gone to Ethiopia, and it would appear that she could be funded by the Ethiopian government and quite possibly the government in the despotic state of Eritrea. And I've actually, when I had talked about the prior video that I showed, in which she is really making disparaging remarks against the Eritrean government, and then suddenly that changes, and she becomes much more supportive of the Eritrean government, and she acknowledged the human rights abuses that take place inside of Eritrea, but now she's completely flipped, and the No More movement appears to be very much supportive of not only Ethiopia or the former state of Ethiopia, the Abiy loyalist side of Ethiopia, but also the despotic state of Eritrea that requires all adults coming to the age serve at the Sawa Military Academy, and then that takes place for years. Furthermore, the as a channel with a fair number of subscribers, I've had the opportunity to review information that would indicate that quite possibly the NISS, the Ethiopian National Internal Security Service, could be involved in the No More movement. I was just curious if Hermela and the No More movement have registered under FARA, the Foreign Agents Registration Act. So again, she's being given property in the former state of Ethiopia. The information that is circulating would show that quite possibly that those folks over at No More could be on the payroll of the Eritrean Security Service or the NISS. So food for thought. It'd be interesting to see if No More or the founders and key leadership of No More have actually registered under the FARA Act. So again, that is the Foreign Agents Registration Act, and obviously, it absolutely appears that those folks are involved in terms of Ethiopian Eritrean intelligence, involved with certain things that are happening with the No More movement. I also talked about the concept of how the Eritrean state removes what it perceives as enemies of the state. And I talked about the Connex, or the shipping crates that are used to bury individuals in the open desert. And I wanted to just kind of show an area that probably existed long before Google Earth. And I would assume that when this site was created, that they did not anticipate that Google Earth would be looking down at some point. And this is the Sawa Cemetery. So this is the Sawa Cemetery. Now let's take a look at these burial sites. Now, if we look at an ordinary shipping container, they come in various sizes, but one of the common sizes is a 20-foot shipping container. Let's look at this for a second. Kind of interesting, isn't it? So again, designated the Sawa Cemetery, and you can see it for yourself. There it is. If you don't need prisons, how do you get rid of the unwanted? Well, I would say have a look at this area. So again, incredibly distressing. I can understand that, but those are the facts on the ground, and that is what it is in the despotic state of Eritrea. And again, if you are a supporter of the No More movement, then you also support this, and you support the despotic regime of Eritrea. I would highly encourage you to look at the relationship, again, between key figures of No More, Eritrea, and the Abiy Ahmed warlord government. Have a good day, everybody.